Greetings to everyone out there in the NoDQ galaxy. Welcome to NoDQ&A Live here on NoDQ.com. It is Memorial Day weekend, but for us wrestling fans, it is All Elite Wrestling's Double or Nothing weekend. There are currently StarCast festivities going on in Las Vegas, but thank you to everyone watching this instead. I really do appreciate it. I am here in Portland, Oregon, ready to answer your questions via Skype. You may call in, send in a question. Please limit yourself to one question if you do call in on Skype. If you have multiple questions, a super chat would be nice. Feel free to super chat and I will answer your question. You can send in multiple super chats for multiple questions. Also, you can tweet me at Aaron Rift, but I already have some questions from Twitter. I will go ahead and get started with one Twitter question, and then I will open up Skype for phone calls. So one question I have here comes from Crosby27, and this is coming off Money in the Bank. So he asks me, do you think Ricochet will ever be WWE or Universal Champion one day? Hashtag PAIV. I'll ask you guys in the chat room, what do you think? Do you think Ricochet will ever be WWE or Universal Champion? To be quite honest, I did not think Kofi Kingston was going to be WWE Champion after he lost to Randy Orton in January 2010. I felt once that push was over, WWE had given up on him, and that was that. Psycho Jet Black with the first super chat, $2, says, sing the American Males song. I am not Greg Cherry. I don't sing and dance for super chats, but American males, American males, American males, American males. Okay, that's enough of that before I lose all the viewers. Back to Ricochet. I would say anything's possible. However, he doesn't really fit the mold of a guy that would be WWE champion. He is a very talented guy, no doubt about it. But he also has that cruiserweight vibe to him, even though he's not in the cruiserweight division. It depends on how big his star power gets and if Vince McMahon really takes a liking to him. I think if Vince was not running the company, I think the odds would be better. But as long as Vince is in charge, I think it's going to be a long shot, unfortunately, for him to have either championship at this point. Now, Kofi being champion could open the door for more possibilities, but I really feel like Kofi was just like a lightning in the bottle moment. And maybe Ricochet will have one of those moments, but I think that the odds are against it, at least at this moment. Maybe things will change. I don't have a crystal ball, so it's really hard to say. Got a $2.18 super chat from Caleb Jacobs. He says, is AEW considered competition already, TNT? Well, thank you for the question, Caleb. And as far as WWE is concerned, anything on television is competition. That's their approach. They say any TV show, any movie, anything that we have to compete with in order to have viewership, we consider competition, because WWE sees your time as valuable and they want your time in any way they can get it. So they're competing for your time. They're competing for my time. They're competing for everyone's time. And they consider anybody that is competition to be somebody that instead of watching WWE, they might watch something else, whether it's a movie, whether it's All Elite Wrestling, it doesn't matter. WWE sees pretty much all forms of entertainment as competition. So it's a very broad answer, but, AEW is going to be a direct competitor, let's face it here, because they are going to be in a battle with talents and people outside. I mean, Dean Malenko just signed with All Elite Wrestling, and Jim Ross recently signed, and there's possibly more production people, more writers that might go to All Elite Wrestling. And AEW is also in the same exact genre as WWE, professional wrestling. So yeah, they're the closest thing to competition. WWE might say everything else is competition, but when it comes right down to it, AEW is pretty much direct competition. Cindy sent in a $5 super chat, and she says, sorry about that, Cindy. She says, Who do you want to crown as AEW champion? Kenny Omega, Chris Jericho, or the winner of the Casino Battle Royale? And she says, greetings from Canada. Hope Canada is treating you well, Cindy. Thank you for the $5 super chat. I appreciate it. So I would like to see Kenny Omega win it. Now, I also don't know who is going to win the Battle Royal. That could be interesting. I mean, if it's a big surprise, and I feel like it's going to be a big surprise winning that Battle Royal, because the names that are currently on the list, I don't really see them winning the Battle Royal and facing Kenny Omega or Chris Jericho. So I really think it's going to be a big surprise. Is it going to be Jon Moxley? Could be. And at that point, it's hard to say. But I think the first AEW champion should be somebody not from WWE. I think it's really good to start the promotion off with a new star. Make a new star. Don't rely on the past stars. Use the past stars to help elevate the new guys. So Chris Jericho should be putting over Kenny Omega. And I think that if Jon Moxley comes in, I mean, you could make an argument for Moxley winning the title, but then people are going to say, oh, he's a WWE reject winning the world title, which is the same thing that happened in Impact. So I'd rather see the first champion be somebody who's not from WWE. And Kenny Omega, I think, is your best bet. Hamp Connell with the $2 super chat says, it's my birthday. Well, happy birthday to you, Hamp Connell. Apparently, it's also Marshall Leonard's birthday. So happy birthday, Marshall. Happy birthday, Hamp. Mike B with a $5 super chat. Thank you for that, Mike B. He says, even though Y2J is in All Elite Wrestling, do you think he'll eventually have a final run in WWE and down the line being inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame? Yes, I do think he will be back in WWE one day in some capacity. What? I don't know, but I don't think we've seen the last of Chris Jericho in a WWE ring. As far as him being inducted into the Hall of Fame, yes. I think 100% yes. I don't think they're going to hold a big grudge over this situation with him going to AEW, but, you know, they might be angry for a while. They cut out Hulk Hogan from the intro for a while and tried to ignore him from history for a period of time when he went to WCW and tried to portray him as an old has-been that stuck around for too long. They may do the same with Jericho. Jericho's getting up there, of course. But yeah, I do think Jericho will be back in WWE one day, and I think he'll go into the Hall of Fame one day. Chris Mace with a $5 super chat, and thank you for that, Chris. Chris says, with the 24/7 title making me think of the hardcore title, what is your hardcore title match? Mine is Undertaker versus RVD. Thank you for everything you do. Well, thank you, Chris, and I hope you had fun with the team NoDQ doing the predictions for the All Elite Wrestling Double or Nothing. And sorry to everyone out there, I didn't do mine, but I could give a couple predictions here. Again, I'm not familiar with a lot of the people on the undercard, so it's hard for me to make predictions. I mean, I think Cindy was better suited for it since she follows indie wrestling more closely. But I would go with Kenny Omega to beat Chris Jericho. I mean, that's going to be my main prediction. What is my favorite hardcore title match? I mean, Undertaker and RVD is a really good one. I mean, man, that's a hard one to say because maybe RVD versus Jeff Hardy. Was that a hardcore title match? When the Invasion angle was going on, you guys might have to correct me in the chat room, but I could have sworn it was a hardcore title match. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it was the IC title or US title or something, but I thought RVD won the hardcore title right away. Oh, Chris May says yes at Invasion 2001. All right, thank you for that. Yeah, I would say that was probably my favorite one that I can think off the top of my head. And of course, like the Hardcore Invitationals were always a lot of fun. The stuff with Crash Holly, which is why WWE's doing this whole gimmick now. Another good one was pretty early on, Mick Foley versus the Big Boss Man. That was a good one. It was a ladder match on Raw. I do remember that one. How about that one where Hardcore Holly and Al Snow ended up, I think it was St. Valentine's Day Massacre, where they ended up in the Mississippi River. That one was really entertaining. That one definitely stands out. Okay, the Ring Generals with a $5 super chat says, do you really think AEW will waste a return of Jon Moxley on a pre-show match for the Battle Royal, or will he show up later that night? Well, thank you for the Super Chat, Ring Generals. I do appreciate it. And I am going to get to calls here. I do want to get to some of these Super Chats. And you guys have been great so far with the Super Chats, so thank you for that. Here's why I think it's a good idea for Jon Moxley to be on the pre-show. This is a $50 pay-per-view. So you want buzz, and you want last-minute buzz, because if this pre-show is something epic, you're going to have people scrambling to buy the pay-per-view. You might get a lot of impulsive last-minute buys. So if Jon Moxley shows up, that's going to be where you're going to have the most people watching. You're going to have the most people that are on the fence tuning into the pre-show to see what this is all about. And if Jon Moxley shows up on that pre-show, everyone's going to be like, holy crap, I need to see this pay-per-view now. So I actually think it's a brilliant idea. If Jon Moxley shows up on that pre-show and wins it, I think that's genius. I think that would be a great way to get some last-minute buys and get some buzz for the show. So yes, I think it's a great idea. And I don't think it's a waste at all. I think it would be a really smart business move to have Moxley, or have a big surprise. If it's not him, somebody else. I mean, yeah, I don't think it's going to be CM Punk. He's doing an MMA show earlier that day in Palm Springs, and I don't think he's going to make it. But if they can get a big name at the end of that Battle Royal, I think that would be a really good thing for AEW to boost up the pay-per-view buys last minute. Got this one here from Caleb Jacobs, $2 super chat. Thank you, Caleb. He says, Brian Pillman Jr. for first AEW champion, your thoughts? I haven't seen enough of his work. And again, I think it would be best, to have a new guy win the title. But at the same time, we really don't know much about Brian Pillman Jr. other than he's the son of Brian Pillman. What's good about Kenny Omega is that he already has a following. Granted, it's a cult following, but a lot of people know him, and he's not a WWE guy. So I think he's really the best choice to be the first champion. Brian Pillman Jr., I think, has a way to go. We got to see him get established more before you can start talking about pushing him at that level. I just don't think he's there yet. And then I got this question here from Psycho Jet Black, $2. Thank you for that, Psycho Jet Black. He says, why did Cody fail to be a main event star in WWE? Well, see, I have mixed feelings about Cody, and, he blocked NoDQ on Twitter. It is what it is. And, I'm not there at StarCast. I was not invited, nor was I able to anyways, because I had other commitments to take care of. I just didn't think he really stood out in WWE. And I think what he's doing with AEW is tremendous. I applaud him for that. But I still don't see him as like a top tier guy. I think he's a really solid wrestler, good promo, but I don't think he's great at any particular thing other than getting this promotion set up, which is great. And he's building a legacy. So good for him. And he can still prove people wrong. He can still prove the detractors that he deserves to be on top. But I didn't really see it in WWE. I thought the guy's really solid wrestler, but there's lots of solid wrestlers in WWE. And he just didn't really stand out to me. So, I think he did a little bit to evolve his look over time. But like during the Legacy days, like he looked like your generic creator wrestler template. And, he just didn't really stand out to me, despite being the son of Dusty Rhodes. I still think he's a really solid wrestler, and as a businessman, we'll see what he can do in AEW. And I give him all the credit in the world for what he's doing and trying to build an alternative to WWE. So hats off to him for his work. I applaud his work ethic, and I applaud what he's been doing so far. All right, so we got our first super chat caller. D is calling in, so let's go ahead and answer this super chat. D, how's it going? You there? Hello? All right, well, he had his chance. All right, so I will go ahead and open up Skype here in a second. All right, Chris Mason's calling in. Let's answer this. Hi, Chris. How's it going?
How's it going? All right. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing pretty well. I'm not sure if that first person was a troll call or not. Like, he didn't say anything, and he he had tried calling earlier before I was taking the calls. So what's on your mind, Chris?
Okay, well, since I normally try to ask you questions, they're a little bit different. So I don't know if you've told the story or not before. I can't remember off the top of my head. But my question is for you. What made you originally want to do this in the first place? And what do you want to do the wrestling website? And could you have seen it looking back then and looking at it now? Could you see it as being as grown as it has become now?
Yeah, that's a great question, and it was a process. Like when I first got started, like I just thought it was so cool to be able to like write something and put it up on the internet and people from all over the world could read it. I was really fascinated by that. So that's what really drew me in at first. And it was relatively easy because there were free websites out there where you could build your own web page for free without any knowledge of coding or anything like that. For some of you that go back way into the late 90s, like there was Tripod and Angel Fire and GeoCities and all those little sites. Some of you old folks out there might remember those websites.
I do.
Yeah, so it was pretty cool. Like you could post anything you wanted, photos, news, anything, polls, whatever. So that was really intriguing to me, like just that idea that you could connect with people all around the world and people could see what you write, anybody, anywhere. I thought that was really amazing, and I never envisioned it would have lasted this long or have gotten as big as it's gotten. There was no way for me to imagine that it would become like a full-time job. Like I never expected that. It was just something I was doing for fun, and then it ended up becoming a job, and I ended up being able to make a living from it. So yeah, I guess I lucked into it pretty much, and I just happened to be able to make it work. So yeah, great question there, Chris. Thank you for that.
It's not a problem. And just on a quick thought, real quick, before I go brain dead on it, this is not really a question, but I just want to let you know I was the one who actually last Sunday, after you did your review of Money in the Bank, Solid Monster was doing his review, and I actually was the one who called in to finally ask him after all these years, since he's been avoiding the question, would he challenge Greg Cherry? And he said on the video that he'd be more willing to challenge him for the title. So maybe he'll finally email you after all these years. I finally put him on the spot after years of asking him.
Nice job, Chris. Yeah, put him on the spot on his show. Good job.
I put him on the spot, then I got aggravated at him. That's why I respect you a whole lot more and love NoDQ more than his show. Just
he got aggravated?
On me. He hung up on me. As soon as I asked the question, he hung up on me, where you didn't hang up on me. You actually answered my questions and keep me on the line.
Wow. Well then.
James was in the chat room when he saw that. He goes, well, he said, it could have been a bad Skype connection. I said, well, as soon as I asked, I got clicked and hung up on him. Like, wow, well, that's just great.
At least he did answer the question. I mean, we'd love to have him on. Like, why not? Is he afraid he'll lose to Greg Cherry?
Well, I don't know. He said on there he'd been asked before about the Greg Cherry, and he wasn't sure who this gentleman was, but he knew about the wrestling
he's
trivia
like,
challenge.
I don't know who that guy is. He's a nobody. I'm above that type of response.
Yeah, but he knew what the Wrestling Trivia Championship and Challenge was, though. So obviously he has to know who Greg Cherry is. He knows about the Wrestling Trivia Championship and title.
I mean, Brian Zane did it. We'd love to have Solomonster on too. So you guys do that campaign to get him on. Keep messaging him.
So yeah, but I was so glad I got on there live just to finally ask that question and got hung up on it. I was hot. I was not happy. The NXT team could tell you I was not happy. I think I said every bad word in my mouth that I.
Oh wow! I mean, he's one of the most knowledgeable people when it comes to wrestling. So I think it would be an amazing match. Like that would be truly epic. So yeah, let's try to make it happen. You guys keep messaging him and keep bugging him until he gives in. All right. Well, thank you. Thank you for the call, Chris. I really do appreciate it.
All right, man. You have a good night.
All right. Thanks. Have a great one, my friend.
You too.
All right. Let me get to Power Packers 90 with a $5 super chat. He says, before losing more money here in Vegas, wanted to give you guys some love. And then he says, can't wait for the show tomorrow. We'll try not to lose too much money, Power Packers. You know, if you're gonna give up money, I'll gladly take it. You know, and if you're gonna gamble, go do like the $1 blackjack or something. Do what I do, like play $1 blackjack until you turn a profit and then leave. That's how I always roll in Vegas, anyways. So how's it going, Mike Nixon?
I'm doing very well. How about yourself, Aaron?
I'm doing well. Have you had any issues gambling, or you try to stay away from that stuff?
I'll tell you a quick little story. So about a couple of weeks ago, I went to Atlantic City, and believe it or not, I walked out with $3,000.
Holy cow! Profit?
I played on the blackjack table, which was $50 a hand. One got blackjack twice on that, and after that, I won mainly the majority of it on the freaking quarter slots.
Oh, well, there you go. Quarter slots. See, that's my type of thing. Like, I'm not doing $50 a hand blackjack. Anyways, what's on your mind wrestling wise?
So I wanted to ask this question. It had nothing to do about current wrestling. It's just like a little scenario for you.
Okay, sure.
So if you were booking the Hall of Fame next year, right? What would be your all-star realistic ballot?
Oh man, so I'm trying to think who hasn't gone in. So of course The Rock, we gotta have The Rock in. If not The Rock, Batista or The Rock seem like the logical two. And now that Batista's allegedly done, I could see Batista going in next year. So Batista, Rock, or Undertaker is the headliner. Tag team Demolition. I really want to see Demolition in the Hall of Fame. So they would be my tag team. They would definitely be my tag team. Female superstar AJ Lee. Get her in the Hall of Fame already. Or get Chyna in by herself, if not AJ Lee. But I'd be totally cool with either of them as the female inductee into the Hall of Fame. And man, there was somebody else I was thinking of, and now I'm blanking on it. What about you? What are your picks if you can do it?
So my headliner this year will be The Undertaker. My tag team, I think the only tag team out of the 2000s so far has been Edge and Christian, right? Or no, they haven't been brought in yet, right?
We're still waiting on Christian. I'd like to see Christian just go in on his own, actually. So add him to the list. I'd like to see Christian get his Hall of Fame induction next year.
Tag team, I would say either the Hardys or Edge and Christian. Female superstar, I would have to agree with you on AJ Lee. I think she's well deserving of it, and if she's not ever going to be back in WWE again like her husband, then why not? She's deserving. And then maybe even like I don't know if he is in bad terms with the company, but I know just to throw someone in there, maybe like a Ken Shamrock.
Ooh, I love Ken Shamrock. I think that's a great idea. He would be on my list too, and Owen Hart, of course. But we all know, unless Martha allows it.
That's why I said realistically, because it doesn't seem like anytime within the next 5 or 10 years, unless, like you said, like knock on wood, it doesn't happen. But like if Martha passed away suddenly, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, how about Davey Boy Smith then? If not Owen Hart, British Bulldog, or even Brian Pillman would be great as well.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much for the call, Mike. I really do appreciate it. Anything you would like to plug or promote?
Nothing to plug or promote. Just keep up the great work, Aaron.
All right. Thank you. Have a great night, my friend.
You too.
All right, that was Mike Nixon. Thank you for the call. Let me try to get to some more of these super chats. I'm actually way behind, so I really want to thank you guys for all the great super chats. All right, Greg Cherry's calling in. Hello, Greg Cherry, the wrestling trivia champion. How's it going?
Not too bad. I was able to get on your stream finally. I know you have super chats to get to.
So
and
I don't know if you
shortly.
I don't know if you heard this story.
I wanted to ask you questions.
Okay, go ahead.
Nothing is tomorrow.
Oh, can you hear me okay?
What mistakes do you think AEW can avoid to become essentially WCW 3.0, because some people still consider TNA WCW 2.0.
Right. Well, I think the most important thing is to not do the same type of production as WCW and TNA. They should stylistically be different, not just in the ring, but production rise. With the set, the lighting, the ropes, just everything. They should try to make it unique and try to do something different that we haven't seen before instead of relying on the same structure of television show and just the overall format. They got to change it up a bit and try to think outside the box and just do some different things. Like TNA just often felt like WCW 2.0, and part of it too was they were using a lot of the same people. I believe what's his name, the WCW production guy, he also worked in TNA. What's his name?
I can't remember off the top of my head.
Man, I'm forgetting his name now. Keith Mitchell?
Perhaps.
I think that's it. And he did production for both WCW, TNA, and I believe he's doing AEW too. So I don't know. I mean, he might be the only good guy that's available to them, but yeah, I don't know if I would go with the same exact people that you had in TNA. That could be a mistake in the long run.
Right, and I think part of the advantage that AEW has is Chris Jericho. Even if he's not part of the office, he was with WCW, so he should know what mistakes to avoid their pitfalls.
Yeah, exactly. And don't hire Bischoff. Definitely don't do that. That would be one good step, to not hire Bischoff. Greg, real quick before you go, I don't know if you heard the previous caller, but Chris Mace brought up how he called into Solomonster's podcast and asked him about facing you in a match, and I guess Solomonster hung up on him, but then expressed interest in doing the match, even though apparently he doesn't know who you are. So do you have anything to say to Solomonster, who's a very popular wrestling YouTuber and podcaster?
Well, let me say, if he doesn't know who I am, he'll learn pretty damn quick who I am. I am the greatest wrestling trivia mind of all time. I proved that against Jeff. I've proved it against everybody in my near 450-day reign as champion. And I know season 7's coming up, and we got something. And you know about something other than a tag team tournament to do with the trivia challenge. And we won't say anything about that yet because that's still in the works, but I'm interested to see how that's going to go.
Yeah, me too. I am as well. So make sure you guys check out Greg's stream. You're doing another one on Sunday, correct?
That's correct. I'm going to try and catch up. I might not be able to watch Double or Nothing live. I'm going to try and catch up as much as I can before my stream on Sunday. Last week was an intense stream for me. I did 6 different wrestlers' entrances. I sang a song, I did a dance, and I gave away 2 shirts. So yeah. It was an epic stream. I hope everybody can join me for that and see what other ridiculous shenanigans people can make me do.
Yeah, Greg has that wheel that he'll spin if you send him a super chat. So you guys should tune into his stream, and maybe you'll win a T-shirt. 2 people did last time, so it can definitely happen.
Yeah, it happened. It finished the stream 2 weeks ago, my first shirt giveaway, and then last week's stream started off with 2 shirt giveaways. So
that's crazy.
It is definitely possible.
All right. Well, thank you for the call, Greg. I appreciate it.
Yep, no problem.
All right. Take care. All right. I am going to close Skype for a couple minutes here because I really want to get caught up with these super chats. You guys have been great, by the way. WWE Cigar World Champion David McGinnis left a $5 super chat. He says, do you think Carmella would turn on R-Truth and become champion? And do you like being a YouTube celebrity? I think it's going to happen. I think there's a decent chance Carmella will, maybe not Carmella, but I feel like we will definitely see a female WWE superstar win the 24/7 championship. I think that will definitely happen at some point. I think somebody from 205 Live will win it. I think NXT superstars will probably win it. I don't know if Carmella will necessarily turn against R-Truth. They make a good pairing, but I could see it as a possibility. I mean, I would not be surprised by it. And do I like being a YouTube celebrity? I mean, not really. I'm pretty introverted, and I kind of do like my privacy. And I really don't like stalkers, and unfortunately, part of the gig includes having people that stalk you and are obsessed with you, like to an unhealthy level. So yeah, and it's especially frustrating when you're not even like a really big deal. Like I'm at best like a D-level celebrity on YouTube. You know, I got 4,000 or 5,000, 6,000 people that watch me every week, but that's that's nothing compared to somebody who gets hundreds of thousands of viewers every week. Yet I still have, the stalkers out there. So yeah, it's definitely has its pros and cons. I would prefer to be more low key, but there are some nutty people out there. That's all I got to say about that without getting too chaotic here with that response. Caleb Jacobs with a $3 super chat says, how about a troll moment, cult of personality at Double or Nothing? I don't think there's going to be any trolling. Like, if AEW was smart, they would not do that. The last thing you want to do is tease the fans and then not deliver on something, especially when this is your first major show. So that's not a good idea at all. WWE, however, like that would be hilarious if they did that. Like I would laugh my ass off if WWE did the cult of personality thing to troll fans. But they had opportunities, like The Miz could have done it. Bad News Barrett could have done it in Chicago and come out there and say, I'm afraid I got some bad news. He could be wearing the CM Punk hoodie and then turn around. Okay, so Stephen Osborne left a $2 super chat, says, just went on break. Let me call in. I think his break probably ended already. But I will turn back on Skype. And Stefan, if you're listening to this, feel free to call in. Dane Thomas with a $10 super chat. Thank you for that, Dane Thomas. He says, love the vids. Keep it up. Sorry I'm not able to watch live that often because I'm always working, but I just wanted to show support. Well, thank you so much, Dane. I really do appreciate the support. And, feel free to send me a question if you would like. I would be happy to answer one of your questions. Stefan, if you're on Skype now, feel free to call me. Maybe you're still on your break, maybe not. Let's see here. Shanti Cruz with a $10 super chat. Thank you so much for that, Shanti. What is your all-time favorite entrance theme? Mine is Gangrel, and what are your thoughts on him? I feel like WWE missed out on him. And also, do you see him getting into the Hall of Fame at some point? All right, well, Hamp Connell's calling in. Hamp, 1 second here. I love Gangrel's theme. That's a great one. Of course, Stone Cold Steve Austin, D-Generation X, NWO, Hulk Hogan. Those would be my favorite theme songs. There's been lots of great ones over the years. And as far as some of the recent ones, Nakamura, Bobby Roode, great theme songs. And yeah, I thought Gangrel was a great gimmick for the Attitude Era, and I'm sad he didn't get utilized more. He was only there for a couple of years, and then he pretty much disappeared. I think he's a long shot for the Hall of Fame, but I mean, I wouldn't rule it out. However, he wasn't really there that long. He had a pretty badass entrance, but he never got pushed all that strongly. So I feel like it could happen, but it's probably a long shot. Then again, Coco Beware winning. Hamp, how's it going, my friend? Thanks for waiting.
Hey, how you doing? Can you hear me?
Barely. It's a little muffled.
What about now?
Doesn't sound a whole lot better. What's your question? I can hear you well enough to answer.
Well, my question is, let's say for argument's sake, AEW does great, beats WWE's rating, merchandise, and all that. Is anybody going to be able to convince Vince McMahon that it's time for a change, or is he going to be hard-headed?
Well, so I don't think that's going to happen right away, but if that time ever comes, that is going to be interesting. Like, Vince may let other people take over, because I think like the Vince McMahon of the 1990s, he was still pretty young and he could really be there at the forefront of everything. But now, like if his company was starting to be threatened, like they were losing money because of AEW, yeah, I think he would make changes. But that, even then, like I don't see him like completely ever giving up his role as the boss. Like I think he's always going to be the boss as long as he's alive, quite frankly. So yeah, I don't think like AEW actually being competitive is going to make a huge difference at this stage of the game. I think Vince will still be calling the shots, but maybe he'll be willing to listen to more people. I mean, that's certainly a possibility.
Okay. And one quick thought about the Hall of Fame next year. Since they're in Tampa, what do you think about Big Show?
Ooh, Big Show's a good one. I'd be fine with that. Although I think, I wouldn't mind Big Show being a headliner. I know, like, it probably won't happen, but like, I feel like the guy had a star-studded career. I could see him being like the second or third on the billing, though. Like, I don't think they would make him the headliner. I mean, he was a pretty big star, but never like a top-level guy. But yeah, I definitely would like to see him go in Tampa, and you know, I could see him going in the next couple of years for sure. But anyways, thank you so much, Hamp, for the questions. Anything you would like to plug or promote?
No, that's it. I was just gonna say if I put in Big Show, I would have Shane McMahon inducted.
Which way did he go? I like it. Shane McMahon's a good choice, or Hulk Hogan, of course. All right, thank you. Hamp.
Yeah, I'm driving home from Disney World, so I'll let you go.
Oh, I hope you had fun. Hope you had fun, my friend. Take care.
You too. Bye.
All right, take care. All right, the Ring Generals just sent in a $10 super chat. Settle the debate among the Ring Generals. Who is the face of AEW, Omega or Cody? RKJ Man thinks Omega due to the TNT commercial airing during the NBA game. Nick thinks Cody because he created the company. I don't think Cody should be the face of the company. I think, you know, going back to earlier, you know, the mistake that AEW could end up making would be to push the person in charge as the face of the company. Like, that was a mistake that territories would do. And, you know, it's always a mistake to have the promoter as the champion. So I don't think Cody Rhodes should be the face of the company, especially since he's in a management role. Oh, we got some feedback there. Cody Rhodes can be a big star in AEW. That's fine, but I would not make him the face. It should be Kenny Omega. That's my humble opinion on it. I think Omega should be the guy. Calvin, you there? Oh, we got a bad echo, Calvin.
Yes.
We got to fix the echo. Okay, I think it's gone now. What's up?
Not much.
So what's on your mind wrestling-wise?
I have a question.
Go for it.
What was your favorite match from the 1998 King of the Ring?
The Hell in a Cell, Mankind Undertaker. I mean, that to me was the match that stole the show. If I had to pick a second match, though, maybe Austin and Kane, the First Blood match. I mean, that was a good match too, but obviously it could not follow the Hell in a Cell match with Mankind and Undertaker. And The Rock and Ken Shamrock was actually a pretty good finale. But yeah, all that other stuff got overshadowed. Wasn't that, I think that was the pay-per-view where Al Snow had head and head, they put the shoulders on head, you know, head and shoulders. I think that was the pay-per-view. Maybe I'm wrong on that. But yeah, that was actually a good pay-per-view. But yeah, the Mankind Undertaker match just, you know, outshines everything else that happened with that. So thank you for the question, Calvin. Anything you would like to plug or promote?
Twitter.com @FallenCav7.
All right. Well, thank you so much for the call. I appreciate it, my friend.
You're welcome.
All right. Take care. All right. We got DJ on. How's it going, DJ?
What's up, Aaron? How you doing, man?
Okay. So I got to ask you, because I always mess it up. Is it Witty or Whitey?
It's witty, like you're a witty person.
Okay, gotcha. Because I think I always go back and forth on it. I'm never sure like what the correct pronunciation of it is.
It's all good, man. But Whitey has a ring to it, so that's cool too.
Yeah, I know. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. I'm terrible with the names. Anyways, what's on your mind, my friend?
Did you get the super chats out the way? I wanted to wait till you get the super chats, or you want me to go ahead?
Let's see. Chris Mace sent one. Let's see if I'm almost caught up here, I think. Now, I got like 2 I think I got to get to still.
Oh, I got you.
If you want, just go ahead with the question. Knock it out.
Okay. Well, first off, when you're doing your reviews on Raw and SmackDown this past week, and you said the Spirit was like coming on you, I legit thought that Riff Aronson was coming back alive.
What?
You feel Riff Aronson?
Do not say that name on my video. That's as bad as calling in and trolling me. That is basically what you're doing right now. Never mention that name again.
Okay, I got you, brother. Sorry, man. But my real question is, so AEW, I just found out, man, that they're with TNT now. I guess I'm late to the party, but that's a huge deal to me because when Impact went to that destination channel, like I had a really hard time finding it. And then I called Xfinity and they were like $15.99 if you want that channel. I'm like, no way, dude. So how big of a deal do you think that is that they're with TNT? Like that's a big station, you know?
Oh yeah. Well, this is like I'm blown away by it because it's basically the best non WWE TV deal that any company has gotten other than WCW when they had TNT. I mean, I would say this is bigger than Impact Wrestling getting Spike. You know, they're getting 2 hours in prime time, and that's huge. You know, for a company that is a startup essentially, it's like unprecedented. So good for them. You know, this is great news for them, and you know, I wish them the best. You know, this is definitely going to give them a running start, and we'll see if they can keep the momentum going or not. But yeah, definitely, you know, best case scenario for them pretty much, you know?
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, that was my only question. And oh, by the way, we got to bring back a stipulation. It's been a minute since you did a stipulation, man. So I'll give you a $50 super chat if that's what it takes, man. You got to bring back a stipulation for at least Super Showdown or maybe even SummerSlam. But
okay, let's hear it.
Well, I don't have one right now, but I need some time to think about it. But yeah, because you know when you did that last stipulation at WrestleMania with Zack Ryder won the IC title, like I felt like you had an impact on that decision. It's crazy.
That was not my finest moment there, having to have my beard shaved off because of Zack Ryder. Damn him! And then he blocks me on Twitter after that too.
Right.
I hate that guy.
Damn, Zack Ryder.
It gets me angry.
Right.
Just thinking about it, my blood is boiling right now. Well, thank you for the call, though. I appreciate it.
No problem, man. So we'll see you on Raw.
Yeah,
thanks,
just me on Raw.
Appreciate it, brother.
I appreciate it. It's just going to be me on Raw. No other entity is going to be on this stream. I'm just saying.
I don't know, man. If they keep pissing you off, like, I don't know. You might come back. You might come back.
No, not going to happen.
All right, man. I'll talk to you later, man.
Right.
Thanks, dog.
Enjoy your Memorial Day weekend.
You know it, brother.
All right, take care.
Later.
All right, we got Chris Mace with a $5 super chat. Says, Greg Cherry can listen to Solid Monster comments on his Money in the Bank results show at the 1 hour 33 mark shortly after I get on the phone and ask him. All right, so there you go, Greg Cherry. I'll pass that on to him to listen to the Solid Monster podcast, 1 hour and 33 minutes. We may go long on this one because I still got a lot of questions to go here, and I'm sure more people would like to call in. The This Guy Experience with a $2 super chat. He says, Jim Johnston will be in the Hall of Fame. AEW needs his music. I hope, see, again, I don't want AEW to become WCW 2.0 or TNA 2.0, whatever, but I'd love to see Jim Johnston work in AEW because I think the music is a really important part of the package. So if you're going to hire somebody from WWE, Jim Johnston's the guy. Like, I would 100% bring him into AEW. Like, I don't think you need to bring in every single person who's a free agent, but man, like, that would be a great idea. I really think that Jim Johnston would help a lot with the presentation of AEW. Ryan King with a $2 super chat says, what match are you most excited for tomorrow night? Well, I'm excited about the main event, of course, Chris Jericho, Kenny Omega. And I'm excited for the Battle Royal now to see who's going to be the other number one contender. And are we going to get that big surprise or not? I'm definitely intrigued by those two matches. I'm also interested in Cody versus Dustin to see what they do. You know, it's a historic match. Probably going to be Dustin Rhodes' last match. And I'm curious to see what they can do without the WWE holding them back, you know, with no restrictions. I'm curious to see what they're able to do on this pay-per-view. Chris Mace with a $5 super chat. Thank you, Chris Mace. He says, my daughter said she would do a painting for you and Caitlin. Figured it would be a good wedding gift, and my daughters love the ladies in NoDQ. Well, one thing I got to make it clear here, we are not engaged yet, so just wanted to throw that out there to kill the rumors. But yeah, I really would appreciate that, Chris. That would be awesome, and I'm glad that she's a fan of the ladies in NoDQ, and I'm happy that they're able to be an influence on your daughter. So that is really cool to hear that. Thank you for the super chat, Chris. I really do appreciate it. All right, Dylan's calling in. Dylan, how's it going?
Hey, Aaron, not much. Although, let me just say that tomorrow I will be watching AEW's Double or Nothing. It'll actually be the very first wrestling pay-per-view that I'll see live since, I believe, WrestleMania 30.
Wow. Well, there you go. So you're gonna buy the pay-per-view? I'm sorry if I'm putting you on the spot here. You don't have to answer. You can plead the fifth.
Oh, sorry, Aaron, can you repeat that?
I was just gonna say, like, I was gonna ask if you were buying the pay-per-view or not, but you don't have to answer that question. You could plead the fifth.
No, I mean they've earned my money.
Okay.
I'm not gonna do what you think I'm probably gonna do.
No, I'm buying it too. I'm buying it too. So there you go.
Yeah. I didn't even get to see All In live. I had to work that day, and I wanted to, but yeah, I'm really curious. I'm really excited. This is like I've never been this excited for a wrestling show since since maybe Money in the Bank 2011, maybe. I mean, geez.
Yeah, it's definitely a very interesting time in wrestling for sure. There's a lot of buzz heading into this show, and I hope they can exceed the expectations, not just live up to them, but exceed them. Like, that would be a best case scenario.
It's nice. I mean, I've been watching New Japan for a few years now, but it's honestly hard to be like a big fan of it because I don't really have a whole lot of friends that really watch it. But AEW, on the other hand, I mean, I've had friends saying that who haven't watched wrestling in a long time either that want to check this out. I mean, they haven't even had their first show yet, and they've already gotten my attention and as what was the phrase Tony Khan used? Lapsed wrestling fan.
Yeah, that's definitely a word that's been thrown around. I think their goal is not just to satisfy their current fan base, but also to bring in disgruntled fans, the lapsed fans, and also create new fans, because that's what WCW did when Nitro started. Instead of splitting the audience with WWE on Monday nights, Nitro basically doubled the Monday night viewing audience. They brought in a whole new wave of fans to watch wrestling. So I think that's what people are hoping with AEW, that it'll go beyond your average diehard wrestling fan, and your more casual people that don't really follow it, they'll be intrigued by it and they'll start tuning in. So we'll see what happens. It's going to be a very interesting several months in wrestling for sure.
Yeah, I really hope they attract the casual audience, because it seems like right now I 100% believe that.
Uh-oh. Did we lose you, Dylan? Think we may have lost Dylan. All right. Well, thank you for calling in, Dylan. I'm sorry that you got disconnected there. WWE Cigar World Champion David McGinnis. I love that username, by the way. Not quite as good as the Hank Schrader on the shitter one. That's still the best one. He says, want to see Bret Hart versus Goldberg 2. Bret Hart pays someone to attack Goldberg because he's angry from getting injured from Goldberg, and he wants to injure Goldberg and retiring. I think what he's trying to say is maybe like Goldberg would possibly feud with somebody represented by Bret Hart. I don't think WWE is going to do that. I don't think they're going to play off a WCW storyline like that. So I think that's unlikely. But it's an interesting idea, I will say that. It's so far gone, and most casual fans are going to have no idea what to make of it. So I don't think it's going to happen. But thank you for the super chat. All right, Oscar, how's it going?
Hey, Aaron, what's going on? My brother from a different mother.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to hitting up New Jersey next month. I'm going to be going to the the pizza place, Frankensons.
Oh, dude, man, yeah, dude, hit me up on Twitter or whatever. I would love. Me and my wife would like to. We'd love to join you for that, man.
Yeah, we got to convince Caitlin to go though. So, Caitlin, I know you're watching this right now. You got to meet up with Oscar. You know.
Sweet, definitely, man. I have a quick question about AEW since it's the hot topic of the weekend. But what do you think if AEW, ratings do pretty good, pay-per-view buys do pretty sweet? Could you ever see them booking Madison Square Garden, or do you think they'll want to book MSG? But do you think they'll be like, oh, maybe we need help from like New Japan, ROH, or an independent? Basically, can AEW, if they're successful enough, can they book Madison Square Garden on their own, or do you think they'll need quote unquote help from other organizations?
I don't think they need help, especially if this first show goes over well. I don't think they're going to need help to do that. Like, I think they could fill that building because New York is, a prime market for wrestling as it is. And I think that you would get enough fans traveling. Just the novelty of that, AEW's first show in Madison Square Garden, I think the novelty of that alone would attract your hardcore fans. Plus, you have so many hardcore fans there in the New York area anyways. I think they could easily sell that out. Like, I don't think they would have a problem.
Cool. Yeah, because I went to the New Japan ROH show at the Garden WrestleMania weekend before WrestleMania, and it was cool just hearing the fans. And I was they have this new area called the Chase Bridge on top. And actually, speaking of Solomon, so you mentioned him earlier, he was a couple of seats for me, so that was pretty cool. And it's just cool hearing all the other fans. You can tell some were ROH, some were New Japan. And one of the things me and my friends who we went with, we spoke with other guys next to us, we were all wondering, we're like, wow, could have ROH done this by themselves? Could New Japan done this by themselves? And now with AEW, it's like you've been saying, they should stay away from trying to be WWE Light or WWE Junior or copy it, whatever. But like I said, if they get hot enough, do you think Cody and everybody else would be like, hey, let's start hitting instead of these? They went to Chicago and all that, but like you said, New York, New Jersey, will they hit the Garden? Will they hit Nassau Coliseum? Here in Jersey, Prudential Center? Will they actually, quote unquote, invade, arenas that WWE is known for? And from what I'm getting from you is they might, but I agree with you. I think only if they're successful. And I agree with you as well, Aaron. I don't think it's going to happen like they're going to debut in October and come December, hey, we're going to the Garden. No, I agree with you where it'll take time, I think. And with enough push, enough support, I think they can do it as well. I mean, I would get curious once. I'm going to tune in. Like other people have been saying, and what do you think of it? Like, what do you think? Do you think people are honestly just trolling when they say, oh, AEW is just a fluke and all that jazz? It's just trolls, right?
I would hope so, but then again, there are some screwy wrestling fans out there. You never know. I feel like some of them, and there are granted a lot of WWE supporters and a lot of people that will live and die by the WWE brand forever, regardless of what they put out there on television. So yeah, you're going to have your WWE apologists and your diehard fans that will always support it and will take AEW as a threat. And what they need to understand is it's not a threat to WWE. If anything, it's going to make WWE better because they'll make a better effort to put out a fan-friendly product, which they haven't been doing because they haven't had a reason to do it. They're a monopoly. They can do whatever they want.
Yeah. And so on that, one final thought on that is, so back in the day when Nitro was beating Raw, Nitro was giving us, those real-life storylines, and WWE did it as well to counter it. But as we all know, they had the influence of ECW, and clearly some storylines were kind of copied. So I guess my question is, if AEW gets ahead of Raw and SmackDown, do you have confidence that the WWE will bounce back, or is there like an entity out there that could perhaps help them? Because remember, back in the day, ECW would join Raw and I think Smoky Mountain. They were cross-promoting. So do you believe WWE, if they're getting their butts whipped a lot, do you have the confidence that they'll bounce back, or will they need a little from another organization?
Well, see, it's just a different environment now. WWE is such a powerful global brand that I don't think they're going to need anybody's help. Like they are in a much stronger position now than they were in 1995. Let's face it.
Right. That's true. Oh yeah, that is completely true. Yeah.
So I don't think they're going to be in. Like they'll change things up if they have to, like, and NXT gets such a great response from fans. Like, if anything, we'll see WWE maybe go with more of an NXT style presentation to the show than what they've been doing. But again, I don't think it's going to change all that much as long as Vince is alive, even if AEW starts kicking their butt in various areas. But it's going to come down to the money. Like if AEW starts, getting into WWE's profit and WWE starts losing money, then yeah, we could see some real changes. But it's going to take a lot. Like it's not going to happen right away.
Yeah.
WWE has all that Saudi money, so they're fine.
Yeah, that sweet Saudi money. Yeah. Also, final thought. Yesterday, we hit 20 years. I can't believe it, of losing Owen Hart. Where were you? I was in my chorus room. Me and my friends who were diehard wrestling fans. We would always go in. We would throw jokes. We would mini wrestle. That day, we sat there in silence after the Over the Edge pay-per-view, and we couldn't talk. We barely sang in our practice. So where were you 20 years ago yesterday when it happened?
We were doing backyard wrestling earlier that day, and then a group of us watched the pay-per-view afterwards. So we were at my friend Adam's house watching the pay-per-view, and yeah, it was just so surreal. Like, we weren't even sure what really happened. Like, they were like saying, Jim Ross saying, this is not a storyline, this is not part of the show, and we were all just like, it was so surreal, and you didn't really know how to react to it, and it didn't really hit until the next day when they started having the news reports about it, and then on Raw, like that's when it really set in that this actually happened.
I went to my friend's house, and we saw it, and then I came home, and my parents, watching the Spanish news channels, were like, a wrestler died? I'm like, he did? And yeah, like you said, it was all over the place. And like I said, the following day, it was just cool. It was just awkward, that awkward silence. We were sitting there like, did he really die? And then, like you said, all the news outlets around here in the Tri-State area had it. And yeah, it was just like you said, it was so surreal. Yeah. Well, thanks a lot, Ben. Thank you for answering my questions. And I know you have more super chats and questions to go to. But yeah, bro, if you're hitting up Jersey, let me know. I'll send you a message on Twitter. And definitely, Frankensons, brother.
Yeah, we got to do it for sure. I'll let you know when I'm heading out there.
Cool, no brother, man. Yo, have a great night, Aaron. Once again, great job with the channel. And I know I'm gonna check out some shirts out of your store and see what we can get.
All right, NoDQ.com/shirts. The code is SPRING to get 20% off, just so everybody knows.
Awesome, man. Thanks a lot, man. Have a good night, and I'm going to continue enjoying your show.
Happy Memorial Day.
You too, brother. Happy Memorial Day to you. Take care, man.
Take care. All right, Dylan said, sorry, Aaron, not sure why the call got dropped. All right, Tevin's calling in. Tevin, how's it going?
Hey, sorry you can't really see me right now. Getting ready to go. I have some quick questions. Also, sorry, I'm not sure if you already read my super chat about my birthday, my little one's birthday, or not.
Wait a minute. Okay, so you're this guy, right, in the room, right? Yeah.
This guy experience.
I read one of them. I might have missed one. So whose birthday is it?
No, well, it was our birthday like a couple weeks ago, but I couldn't really squeeze all that in one quick thing.
Oh, well, but, happy belated birthday.
Thank you. If you can see it, I'm not sure if you can.
It's very dark in there. Happy birthday.
Yeah, it's fine. But anyway, let me just jump into the questions whatever. All right, so I remember back in the day where well, thanks for the light.
Hello. Aw, so cute. You guys can't see the baby right now, but the baby is adorable.
No, don't touch it. But anyway, okay. But I'm gonna jump back into it. So like back in the day, when people were in the rest holds and stuff like that, the ref would go check on them, and they would lift their arms up, like hold it like 1, drop it down, 2, 3, and then like for the most famous people that would do that and stop the count at before it gets to 4 was like The Rock and Stone Cold, and even Triple H. And I know most of my questions are nostalgia-based questions, but why don't they do that anymore? I mean, I think the last time I seen a ref do something close to that was like maybe 2016 or 2017, but most of the time they never like do the arm raise to check to see if the person is still in weight. They just like either the person breaks out of the rest hold, they tap out, or the ref just says, "Oh, they're knocked out," but they never like try to make it look realistic anymore.
Yeah, I missed that. They haven't done that much in a while. I think maybe it's just considered too old school. I don't know. But yeah, I know Hulk Hogan used to do it all the time. Like when the hand was going down for the third time, he'd start shaking his hand and like he'd do the thing like no, like with his finger.
I remember him doing that back.
And then Steve Austin would do the middle finger, like to like do a parody of Hogan's like thing with the shaking the finger. That was great. Like I definitely missed that. Like Hogan and Austin and maybe Cena did it a little bit. I don't remember that much if he did it or not.
I know like Hogan did it during the Ruthless Aggression when he was like against Brock or some other person. And I want to say last time I seen something similar, and I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was like maybe 3 or 4 years ago was the last time I seen something close to that, but it wasn't the same. The Rock was always my favorite when he did that because like Triple H would be like holding his neck or something like that, and he would be like 1, 2, and he would like catch the last one, and he just get up and do like the elbows to the midsection and start doing the slaps or whatever. So it was good times.
Yeah. Well, thank you for that question. That's definitely an interesting one. Anything you would like to plug or promote?
Not really. I'm still working on my movie review channel, but hopefully I can get it done by before this month's over. And then next time you have to call in, I'll be able to plug it in. Also, RP to Ashley, that's production last name. Ashley, how do you say Aaron? How do you say her last name? I can't say it.
Wait, my last name?
No, Ashley.
Oh, Massaro.
That's all right. Yeah, Ashley. R.I.P. to her. She was one of my favorite for obvious reasons. But it's still tragic the way that she like took her own life.
Yeah, for sure.
And then I heard some stories about when they went over the rape situation. And so
it's saying poor connection. Tevin, I'm sorry. It's saying poor connection on mine. I'm going to have to end the call here. I can barely hear you now. I don't think it can. Thank you so much for the call. I'm so sorry, Tevin. It's literally popping up poor connection on it. I apologize for that, Tevin. I was trying to keep you on there as long as possible, but it was on the verge of getting completely dropped. Like it was hanging on there by a thread. Let's see here. This guy experience. Okay, I'll finish this. He did send a super chat, $2. Can you sing happy birthday to me and my 1-year-old? I'll call in. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. I can't sing. Happy birthday to your little one. Happy birthday to you. Okay, that's enough of that. I tried. And Dylan said, sorry, not sure why the call got dropped. Maybe I'll call later. Yeah, we'll see if we can make that happen. And Dylan also left a $2 super chat. Thank you for the super chats, Dylan. Will you be doing a call-in after Double or Nothing tomorrow? Maybe I'll consider it. If a couple of you guys would like to call in and give your thoughts, I may do that tomorrow night after Double or Nothing. If there's demand for it, yeah, perhaps I can do that. WWE Cigar World Champion David McGinnis with a $5 super chat says, can you say shut up like Vince McMahon, and why wasn't New Jack ever in WWE? New Jack wasn't in WWE because he was a crazy MFer. Like, that guy was insane. And I don't think he would have been good for WWE's image, even during the Attitude Era. That's how far out there New Jack was. And shut up! That's the best Vince impression I can do. So, there you go. Remember, guys, if you want the impressions, if you want the entrances and all that stuff, Greg Cherry's your man. He can do all that stuff really well. So, make sure you guys tune into Greg's stream on Sunday. He'll be doing, 2-3 hours, however long he does. I have this question here from Colin Andrew. He says, where do you see Dolph Ziggler after the Super Showdown? He sent this in through Twitter. I don't really see him doing much. Like, I think he's going to do the Super Show match because he basically was somebody WWE needed to fill a spot, you know. They didn't want to put Daniel Bryan in because Bryan's doing the tag team thing with Rowan now. And they needed somebody. Owens wasn't going to Saudi Arabia, and they called up Dolph Ziggler. Dolph was available. He was going to Australia anyways. I guess he had a comedy show or something, which I believe got canceled. And it just worked out that Dolph Ziggler fit into that role. But I don't think they have any kind of long-term plan for Dolph Ziggler. So yeah, I don't see much happening with him after Super Showdown. Maybe he'll stick around, maybe he won't. JJ Lopez with a $5 super chat says, how do you feel about WWE's laziness when it comes to entrance videos? I miss the video package look instead of their names just being shown on the Tron. Yeah, there's a lot of things production-wise I miss about WWE, and maybe All Elite Wrestling can do that. Maybe they can go back to doing those old-style Titantrons that we used to see back in the day. Yeah, I'm not really a big fan either, but, you know, WWE, it's cost-effective for them, and they're doing high-definition video. They just like having the big names sprawled out on the screen. But yeah, I definitely miss those old-school Titantron videos. Those are the good old days as far as I'm concerned. I do miss those. And thank you for that super chat. I do appreciate it. JJ Lopez. Thank you for that. And then I think AEW's doing Pyro. So, you know, whatever WWE's doing, AEW should do the opposite. So if WWE's not doing Pyro, do Pyro. If WWE's not doing Titantrons, do Titantrons. Simple as that, as the simple man Noah Foster might say, who is in the chat room, by the way. Cody, Stalkin' Infamy 187 says, will Fox actually pay millions if the ratings for both shows don't improve? They usually get 3.0 ratings for their sitcoms and 5.0 for football. WWE is getting dangerously close to the 1.0 range. Well, I think WWE has already bottomed out. I think that, you know, they're going to get those numbers back up to the mid-2s. Like, I don't see them consistently staying over or under 2.0, I should say. Yeah, there is going to be some pressure, and I think that's why WWE is trying to make changes now, so the numbers don't continue to decline. It could definitely be a problem if the numbers keep dropping, because Fox, they have a contract and they're expecting certain numbers. So yeah, WWE has to deliver on their end of the deal. So if the numbers keep dropping, that could theoretically become a problem, and Fox may say, hey, you guys are not living up to your deal. So we'll see. But I think WWE can get those numbers up. You know, they'll do enough gimmicks. They'll be able to keep those numbers up, or at least stop those numbers from continuing to decline. You know, if they put on better shows, that'll help for one thing. And they really haven't. I mean, the shows last couple weeks have been a little bit more interesting, and the numbers have reflected it. You know, they're trying. The 24/7 thing, not the most original idea in the world, but it's something. At least they're doing something to make the shows a little bit more interesting. And Mr. Yuck sent in this question. Could, should, or would WWE ever use Sami Zayn's alternate persona, El Generico, in any sort of storyline, somewhat akin to Shane Helms' Hurricane or Hulk Hogan's Mr. America shtick? They might. I mean, that's always a possibility. That's always something that could be done if the story calls for it. Hey, this is an opportunity for Sami Zayn to do the split personality, bring back the mask, and do that character again. I would not rule it out. Like, if the timing is right and there's an opportunity to do it, I could definitely see that happening. I mean, I don't think it's necessary right now, but maybe down the line, there will be a storyline that will call for Sami Zayn having that secret identity. So yeah, you could do it, and maybe one day when Triple H is running the show, it'll be more of a possibility. I don't know if Vince McMahon will be a big fan of it, but I could certainly see that happening at some point down the line. I mean, I would not rule it out. All right, so I got through all the Twitter questions, and I'll go ahead and wrap up this episode of NoDQ&A Live. Great show here tonight. Thank you guys for all the super chats. I really appreciate it. I hope I got everybody. I really do apologize if I missed anybody, because there were a lot of them tonight. And again, I'm very thankful for that. I'm trying to look real quick to see if I missed any of them. I don't think I did. I'm pretty sure I caught all of them, but if I did miss one, I apologize very much for that. And I can only scroll up so far. So thank you guys for the super chats. Thank you guys for calling in. Great turnout tonight with the calls. I'm sorry I didn't get to more people. I know a lot of people were trying to call in. Unfortunately, I missed Stephen Osborne again, but maybe next time. That'll do it for this episode. Thank you guys for everything, and I will see you next time. Tomorrow night, I'll be back for another No DQ Live recap, this time of All Elite Wrestling Double or Nothing. Buy a shirt, 20% off, nodq.com.